Hello, folks. Welcome to my channel, Wrinkles Paradigm. Today, I want to talk about how you can become a distinguishable gentleman in Southeast Asia. I picked the subject because I saw how some expats conduct themselves in these countries, especially expecting the countries to adapt to them instead of them adapting to the country. Being a well respected gentleman in Southeast Asia is a complex task that calls for more than just good looks and manners. It also requires a thorough understanding of cultural norms, respect for local practices, and the ability to function in a variety of social settings. With nations like Thailand, Vietnam, the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore, each with its own set of values and expectations, Southeast Asia is a region rich in history, tradition, and diversity. Being a distinguished gentleman means projecting dignity, modesty, and refinement in both outward behavior and appearance. Number one, sensitivity and understanding of cultures. Understanding and honoring the customs of Southeast Asia is essential to being a distinguished gentleman there. This calls for more than a cursory understanding. It calls for a appreciation of regional values, customs, and traditions. A. Respect for traditions. Every Southeast Asian nation has its own distinct cultural traditions, many of which are based on family values and religion. For instance, Buddhism has a strong influence in Thailand, where it is important to respect temples, monks, and religious ceremonies. In a similar vein, respecting religious customs is crucial, and Catholicism is the dominant religion in the Philippines. B. Courtesy and humility. The way a gentleman conducts himself in social situation is one of his defining characteristics. In Southeast Asia, being arrogant is frowned upon and humility is highly valued. Key indicators of respect include being courteous, deferring to elders, and using honorifics when necessary. For instance, it is traditional in Indonesia to extend a small bow when greeting a person or someone and to show respect by offering something like a gift or a handshake with both hands. C. Acquiring language skills. Although English is the primary language spoken by expats in places like Singapore, Malaysia, and the Philippines, knowing even a few simple words in the native tongue demonstrates your respect for and involvement in the local way of life. Simply saying thank you and please in the local tongue, whether it be Thai, Bahasa Indonesia, Tagalog, or Vietnamese, can go a long way and help you stand out. Grooming and personal appearance. One of the key ways to identify yourself as a gentleman is through your outward appearance. Even though casual wear might be appropriate in some situation, a gentleman makes sure his appearance and attire are appropriate for the situation and surroundings. A. Dressing properly. Given the tropical climate of Southeast Asia, it is important to dress appropriately. Cotton and linens are excellent options for light, breathable clothing that keeps you cool while maintaining a polished appearance. Whether it's an official business meeting, a social event, or a more laid back setting, a gentleman always dresses appropriately. Wearing a well tailored suit or smart business casual can help you stand out in nations like Singapore and Malaysia, where the business environment is more formal. In societies that with more relaxed norms, such as Thailand and the Philippines, smart casual is frequently so suitable for social situations. Attention to details. B. Paying attention to the little things is another aspect of what makes a man stand out, such as well groomed shoes, tidy nails, a well trimmed haircut, and well selected accessories like cufflinks or a fine watch. A gentleman should always look well groomed, even in the sweltering heat of a tropical climate. In these kinds of climates, where high humidity can make one feel less fresh at the end of the day, personal hygiene is crucial. C. Effortless style. Real gentlemen don't look too showy or try too hard to stand out. Your taste is understated but sophisticated, perfectly fitted in with the surroundings without being ostentatious. A man may choose to dress more casually yet elegantly in Bali or the Philippines Islands by teaming a crisp button down shirt with chinos or linen pants. 3. Manners and etiquette. Although politeness knows no geographical boundaries, there are specific Southeast Asian quirks that should be considered when interacting with both locals and expats. A. Respect for hierarchy. Social interaction in many Southeast Asian cultures heavily rely on hierarchy. It is essential to show respect for elders, authority figures, and even social or professional ranks. It's critical to understand the social hierarchy in places like Thailand and Vietnam and to make sure that your action reflects this knowledge. Good manners include things like giving seats to senior citizens and speaking to superiors in a gentle, polite manner. B. Social grace. In Southeast Asia, being gorgeous, keeping your voice down, and avoiding conflicts are crucial characteristics of a gentleman. Particularly in nations like Thailand or Japan, expressing your anger or frustration in public can be interpreted as a loss of face by both you and other people. Even in trying circumstances, keeping your composure demonstrates emotional maturity and gains respect. C. Table manners. While regional differences exist in dining etiquette, there are some universally recognized guidelines. For instance, sharing food is a common practice and pointing with your feet is considered impolite in many parts of Southeast Asia. Whether it's the Vietnamese communal dining style or the significance of not washing food in places like Thailand and Cambodia, a gentleman should know how meals are served. 4. Getting to know locals and expats. Maintaining a balance in your relationships with locals and expats is crucial for being a distinctly distinguished gentleman in Southeast Asia. It's vital to move between these two communities with grace and tact. A. Developing sincere relationships. Spend some time developing genuine relationships with locals. Be genuinely curious about their experiences, lives, and culture. Southeast Asians frequently place a high importance on committed partnerships based on respect and trust. You will blend in more easily if you take the time to learn about their traditions, speak their language, and comprehend their customs. B. Networking with expats. Southeast Asia's expat population is diverse, and establishing ties with them can present social and professional opportunities. But a gentleman doesn't have to limit his social circle to fellow expats. Rather, he serves as a link between the local and expat communities, demonstrating considerable consideration and concern for both. C. Giving back to the community. Giving back to the community is highly valued in Southeast Asian cultures. A distinguished gentleman tries to make a good impact on society, whether it is by giving to charitable causes, mentoring up and coming professionals, or supporting local causes. This not only demonstrates your moral character, but also makes you look like a person who cares about the community's welfare. 5. Adapting to regional differences. Asian Pacific is not a homogeneous region. Cultural norms, religious beliefs, and even social expectations vary greatly amongst nations. A gentleman is flexible and cognizant of these local differences. A. Religion and beliefs. There are many different religions practiced in Southeast Asia, such as Buddhism in Thailand and Myanmar, Islam in Malaysia and Indonesia, and Catholicism in the Philippines. It is essential to comprehend and honor religious customs. For instance, it's important to take off your shoes and dress modestly when visiting temples in Thailand or Cambodia. In countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, where the majority population is Muslim, a gentleman should wear modest clothing and be aware of dietary restrictions such as abstaining from alcohol and pork in public places. B. Social norms. The nations of Southeast Asia have diverse social norms pertaining to gender roles, public display of affection, and even business etiquette. For example, in more conservative nations like Malaysia and Indonesia, it is generally frowned upon to make public displays of affection. Being seen as a distinguished gentleman requires knowing these customs and acting appropriately. In summary, in Southeast Asia, becoming a notable gentleman necessitates more than just flashy looks or superficial charms. It also calls for social grace, personal refinement, and cultural awareness. You can distinguish yourself as a true gentleman in an area that places a high value on sophistication and tradition by upholding the principles of respect, humility, and empathy, in addition to paying close attention to the finer points of grooming, manners, and social interactions. Gaining the respect and admiration of people around you can be achieved by skillfully navigating the complexities of both local and expat communities. All right, folks, that is all for today's show. Thank you for watching. Until next time, have a good day.